Aprenden inglés a través del chisme. Empezamos. When I was 9 years old, my dad got a job opportunity as a cook in Edmonton. However, neither one of my parents had ever been to Edmonton. So they decided that my dad would go there first to find a house for the family and make sure that it was a safe environment. A few months go by and Mom and I fly over to Edmonton. We finally meet at the airport and I remember I'm gonna try to be slower because in previous videos I've been told that I talk too fast. I remember he had 2 big teddy bears and they weren't those like big, chunky, cheeky teddy bears. They were more like this. I mean, they were new, but they were just kind of long and I don't know how to describe them. They were cute, just not the typical teddy bears. He sees us and he just starts crying and then we all start crying. It's one of my favorite stories, my favorite memories really from childhood. Up to this year, it had been the happiest day of my life. But now it's the second because something amazing happened this year that I will be sharing with you guys later on. But okay, good. Sorry, I didn't see the mic for a second. Anyway, it was a dream come true, like a fairy tale. I hadn't seen my dad for months, and now we were all together as a family again. And then reality struck because I had to go to school. The first time I read a book, it was because Mrs. Ora, my 4th grade teacher, she gathered, it was like 4 or 5 books from grade 1 to 4th grade to see what level of reading I was at. Well, the only book that I remember, it said something about a tree, a nest, and a bird. And I believe I was crying because she had me try and read all these books that I had no idea what the heck they were saying. Cause remember, I didn't have a single word in my English dictionary. There was no English dictionary for me. Long story short, Carolina, she was my best friend. I met her in that school. I went to a Catholic school for 1.5 years, believe it or not. Carolina and her family, her mom and dad were from Chile. Carolina was born in Canada, so she did not speak any Spanish whatsoever. But that little girl, being 9 years old, she managed to teach me how to speak English. I have no idea how, but she would correct me on any little thing. For example, if I would say, I want to see a movie, she would correct me and say, no, it's watch, not see, watch. And I would ask her, well, okay, so my classmates, they're Canadian. Their only language is English. This is something that I've heard them say before. You're telling me they're wrong? They don't even know how to speak their own language? And she's like, yeah, so shut up and listen. And from then on, I like to say that it is in her honor that I speak English the way I do today. Because that little girl helped me understand the language now don't get me wrong, it took me like 2-3 years to learn proper English and then another 3 years to learn all the other stuff. But she was a big help. She's the real reason that I didn't feel alone in that school. Even though I couldn't have real conversations with her at the beginning, as the time went by, I was finally able to talk with her and just, really get to know her and her family. And her mom became like a second mom to me. Soledad is one of the greatest ladies I've ever met. They were like a second family. This is something that you will hear about in the next video. Make sure to stay tuned for more stories, for more chismes. Gente chismosa, ya ni la joden. Ahí estaba. But yes, the next story will be about Carolina and her family and just how great they were to me and my folks.